The West Ham way, just what's it all about? Is it playing nice football, or is it winning games? Or is it running on the pitch with a corner flag? Who knows? Maybe Football Manager 2015 has the answer, as we take a look at our simulation and see how the Hammers are getting on in the year 2020. They began the simulation with Sam Allardyce in charge, but he was given the boot in November 2015, lasting a few months longer than he did in reality. He was replaced by Neil Lennon, who got 18 months in charge of the club. While he did nothing in the Premier League, he almost brought cup success in 2016, but sadly his side lost in the FA Cup final. David Moyes was next in the dugout, and he had an up and down couple of seasons in charge. He took them as high as 6th, which was pretty impressive, survived a takeover when someone called Maurice Watkins bought the club from David Gold, then he was unable to make it out the Europa League group stage and ended the 2019 Premier League campaign in 12th, leading to him being sacked. West Ham appointed a club legend following Moyes, turning to former player Paolo Di Canio. It was not an appointment, as he just finished 16th in the Championship with Birmingham, but what happened's kind of incredible. The Italian side finished 3rd in the Premier League, meaning Champions League football is coming to West Ham. They got 68 points, finishing only 5 points off top spot. But they were only a point ahead of 5th place and lost their final 2 games, meaning they qualified for the Champions League by the skin of their teeth. They ended the campaign with a 4-2 defeat to Manchester United that didn't matter in the end, but let's look at who played in the history-making West Ham side. In goal was Jeroen Zoet. A 2017 signing from PSV Eindhoven, Zoet cost the Hammers £5.75 million and he's been worth it. I'm pretty aware that I'm saying his name wrong. But anyway, a solid goalkeeper in between the sticks who's averaged just shy of a 7 and got 10 clean sheets en route to West Ham, finishing 3rd. To be fair, Zoet is one of those keepers who you really highly rated at the time, so it was always a player you look at on Footy Manager. His backup was Joel Robles, who arrived in a free in 2018. He's only played 2 league games for the club but did well, with an average rating of 7.2. He didn't play at all last season though, but for some strange reason he's a target for Man City. If Robles does go, Adrian's sitting there in the reserve just waiting to be back up once again. Right back was Kenneth Omaru. A utility player playing at right back, Kenneth Omaru has been nothing more than a backup option since joining from Chelsea a few years ago. He's never been a main starter, just plugging gaps where needs be. But he played this game and will be a Champions League player next season. West Ham's main right back is Rajan Ivica Milinkovic, who arrived from Dynamo last summer. He cost £8.75 million and averaged just shy of a 7 during his 21 Premier League appearances. That's pretty good going for a 20-year-old. Centre back was Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson's move to the Hammers is a funny one in hindsight. West Brom were keen to sign Andy Carroll, paying £4.8 million and sending Craig Dawson to the London Stadium. But in 2020, Dawson is set to be a Champions League defender, while Carroll is now playing his football for Swindon Town in the Championship. Dawson has been reliable at the back for West Ham, a consistent performer who's just had his best season, finally going from the high 6s to a low 7. He's the West Ham captain, and with a natural fitness rating of between 17 and 20, he'll likely go on for a while yet. He was alongside Jairo Riedewald. Signed in 2019 from Arsenal, Jairo Riedewald is a Premier League flop in the real world, but his FM career has been an odd one. The average ratings aren't great, but West Ham still decided to pay decent money for him last summer. And he didn't even perform that well, yet is now a target for AC Milan. I just don't understand how this West Ham team came 3rd, it's ridiculous. Riedewald actually scored in the 4-2 defeat to Man United, unsurprisingly his only goal of the season. Left back was Emmanuel Mas. This Argentinian defender played 34 times in this defining season for the Hammers and got 9 assists, a pretty impressive tally for a defender who isn't called Trent Alexander-Arnold. Mas came from Spurs, but he was signed from San Lorenzo at the start of the simulation. He's a Premier League regular now though, a bit like Pablo Zabaleta but on the left rather than the right. Right midfield was Marco Piacca. This team hasn't made a lot of sense so far, but if you were an FM player 5 years ago, you know that this kid's an absolute baller. Do people still say baller? Anyway, Piacca has just completed his first season with West Ham, joining in 2019 from Dynamo for £8 million. And for that £8 million, the Hammers got 8 Premier League goals, 8 Premier League assists, and an average rating of 7.06. He's their number 9 and should hopefully get better as he continues to adapt to the Premier League, and he'll be crucial if they're going to do anything in the Champions League. Centre midfield was Ander Herrera. West Ham's number 10 and the enforcer in the middle of the park. The days of Mark Noble are over, and it's now Ander Herrera pulling the strings at centre midfield in claret and blue. The Spaniard cost a bargain £2.6 million in 2017, but his average ratings aren't too amazing really when you look at it. Where was this West Ham team good? How on earth did they finish 3rd? I don't get it. He was alongside Nasser Chadli. An odd choice in the middle of the park considering he's a left winger by design, Nacer Chadli had a shocker in this game with an average rating of 6.1 to end the season. Why he was sent to mid is anyone's guess, but the Belgian ended the campaign with 2 goals and 7 assists, a tally that doesn't really reflect his lowly season average of around 6.5. West Ham have a plethora of other options in the middle of the park that are all equally as uninspiring. There's Neil Biton, the Australian international who signed from Celtic, who's now on the transfer list, Diego Poyet, who's most famous for being Gus Poyet's son and nothing else, and most interestingly, Hakim Ziyech, the Moroccan who's set to sign for Chelsea in the real world, but on FM15 he's absolutely awful. He can't even get in the West Ham team, not playing a single Premier League minute during this incredible campaign. Left wing was Jordan Abita. I swear I'm going to pull my hair out in a minute. West Ham's winger for this historic season was Jordan Abita, a player who I've just never understood. On Football Manager he was always at decent clubs despite doing nothing of note. Maybe he knows some of the developers at Sports Interactive. But anyway, he signed for West Ham for a sizable £11.75 million in 2017 from Reading and hasn't even been that good in a West Ham shirt. His attributes are rubbish, he can't cross, all he can do is run really fast and take penalties. Yet somehow he's got 10 solid caps for England and scored 2 goals for his country. And breathe. There could be a change though, with West Ham having just signed Hakan Çalhanoğlu ahead of the new season. Up front was Enner Valencia. The oddest team to finish third in Premier League history is complete with the Ecuadorian striker Enner Valencia, a man who was last seen running away from the police. But on FM15 he scored 10 goals in this season for West Ham, a decent return en route to finishing third. But Valencia only played 27 times last season, suggesting maybe the Hammers had another option up top. And they did. Man United regen Rod Turner, a young Englishman who was on loan at West Ham. Aged just 21, he scored 16 goals in 31 appearances for the Hammers, enough to earn him some England recognition, but more on that in another video. And finally, he was alongside Diafra Sakho. Finally, here's part of the reason West Ham did so well, they had Diafra Sakho banging in the goals. He's much better on FM than he was in the real world, hitting double figures in every Premier League campaign so far. During the most recent season he scored 16 times in 26 games, which is a pretty impressive average tally. While this West Ham team is weird, they've clearly been able to rely on the goals of Diafra Sakho, something no Hammer has actually ever said ever in reality. So that's West Ham in 2020 according to Football Manager 2015. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and as always don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo, and until next time we'll see you around.